This is Let Me See What You Smoking, and we back with another episode. This time, doing a Breeders Talk with Doja. We also doing a review on the Zelium and the soap and blue mosa grown by Mechanic Farms. We right here at the Work and Roll in New York City. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Shout out to Doja Pack tuning in. Definitely gonna start with the Zelium, which is OZK Cross times Strawberry Skittles, bred by try to get them in there, you know. Yeah, it's an honor to have different breeders and cultivators from the West to talk about their experience, you know?
Yeah,
What's up, my brother?
good.
How you doing?
Good, good. It's a nice day out here.
Yeah, well, good afternoon from this side. We right here at the Work and Roll, New York City. It's an honor to have you here, Duke of Herb. You know what I'm saying? I heard a lot of good things about you, my brother. You know, especially with that coffin candy. You've been killing it with the coffin candy. That's where I first heard about the Duke of Herb name, you know, and shout out to Doja as well that, you know, he put it out there. He was like, yeah, I'm working with Duke of Herb, you know, and that's how I started hearing about the man, you know.
Yeah, that's
So
a
my
really
first my first question to you, my brother, is who is Duke of Herb, Duke of Doja?
well. I'm someone that I sure love weed, man. I love breeding weed. Uh, as soon as I came into contact with it, like really kind of looking at the different varieties, it was thanks to High Times. Like I kind of snuck into this bookstore in Athens, Georgia, and crept back and found myself a High Times mag, and I was kind of interested in cannabis at that point. I was like a teenager, like Dare is interesting because it kind of teaches you about drugs, and I was like, well, it seems like weed's probably pretty alright. Like I go to the library and research shit, and it was like, okay, it seems like I want to steer clear of pretty much everything but weed. Like so when I saw that magazine, the first thing that struck me was like all the varieties, you know? It was like just all these different kinds from different parts of the world. And you could see like even back then, like in the 90s, it was like there were different breeders and stuff. And it just like, that was really appealing to me. Kind of always been into gardening and plants, and like my grandmother did daffodils competitively. I didn't even learn that until a few years ago. That's a crazy coincidence. And yeah, it just kind of inspired me into it. And the town that I'm from, Athens, like it's a college town, and there's kind of like a lot of artists there, and definitely some sort of like, I mean, like literal hippies in Athens. And I got to grow up around a lot of cool people, huge variety of people, like musicians and artists, and just different perspectives from like what the base viewpoint of maybe like in Georgia in the South in the 90s was, and it just kind of inspired me to explore it more. Especially when I learned about like, it was weird growing up in Georgia. Like I was born in upstate New York. All my family was from like Boston, New York, and there's a difference between me and a lot of the kids that I was around, and just the culture. You start to learn about it. It's like, all right, so this was the past in Georgia, and it was regarded as like all right, like segregation and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, if that was the norm, then I don't know. I can't really like take what like the general like authoritative consensus is on cannabis. You know what I mean? It's like if that was normal for you, you telling me that weed's bad, like I don't trust it at all. So I'm gonna do my own research, read about things, and then it was like, yeah, at that point I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that weed's alright. That's when I got
That's
into it,
yeah, that's that's interesting, especially, from New York and you ended up in Georgia. How was that transition?
Well, I was a baby when I ended up down there. Like my
Okay,
parents,
okay, okay.
you know, some straight hippies, like got in a Carmen Ghia. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a Volkswagen. It's not like a Bug. They kind of look sporty, but they're still like pieces of shit, like all the other old Volkswagens. And so they break down in Athens, and they just kind of like meet some cool people. And they're like, oh, they were going to Austin, Texas. Like my dad was gonna work in the oil fields or some shit. So, but they were like, oh, everybody here seems cool enough. And so, like, they settled down and, like, it was a straight, like, sharecropper shack. Like, literal, like, slaves, sharecroppers used to live in there back in the day. And it was on the property of these, like, you know, rich, like, old Georgia families' property. And they're like, yeah, you hippies can move into those old city houses if you want down the dirt road. And so, like, I was one of, like, a few families living down this dirt road in these shitty old shacks. But like our families would fix them up. Like we got some electricity and plumbing. That was dope. But it was like, that's how I ended up there. I was just a little, I was born in New York, but grew up in Georgia, like since I was a young kid. And I would travel back up to NY and Boston, in the summers and stuff. Be like, all right, I'm going up north. The weather's going to be nicer. It'll be nice and cool, but really, it's still humid.
So, how do you get into the breeding, into the curation and all that, into the cultivation?
So, after I decided that cannabis was right for me, I got pretty into it. And like I was lucky, that's what I was gonna say in Athens, like there's a lot of people there. There's a college, it's a big college, there's a lot of people. And so there's a lot of access to things. And like way back then, it was like, you could get some Reggie, you get some brick swag, but then you could also get, it was what we call it back then, like hydro or like kind bud, some fire, but along with that was like sometimes what strain it was. And for me, like that was special. Like I would be like, yo, I know what this is. This is called that. This is so fire. Like, this is what I'm into. Even though it was like costing me bread, I was getting custody when I was younger, but I was still hustling too. And eventually got better contacts, maybe grew a little bit of my own in Georgia in the 90s, which was a little risky.
Of course,
Um,
no, of course, of course.
so early on, it's tasty. Um, Early on, it was about like the varieties for me, different flavors. It was very interesting. If it was all the same, like, yeah, it'd be boring, man. So it was always like, it wasn't just about acquiring units of weed. It was about like acquiring this or that kind. And, was well known that California was where all varieties were coming from. People that I grew up with that were kind of ahead of me, like moved out to Humboldt and were doing their thing, and it was just inspiring. Like seeing all the different flavors is like I want to be a part of that, Like I love the different flavors of cannabis, and just I want to. First, it was like I wanted to collect them, Like in the early 2000s in California, it was just me and my associates, people that also grew, that dealt with, and worked with various collectives in Sacramento. It was like about acquiring all these dope genetics. But at the time, it was like, you could have a collective, you could be working with a collective, but you could still get raided, So I'm like, man, like I need to lock some of these genetics down in case something happens, because the seeds I can put somewhere and get back to them later. And so I was reluctant too, because like as you have grows, like early on, I was still learning. I was afraid to mess with breeding because it's like, oh, you got males, like you're gonna fuck up your whole crop, and like don't play with it. But came a point where the risk was worth it because I had acquired so many things that were important to me. I was like, all right, I gotta I breeding with these, And there was some naivety in that where I was like, you breed it and then you pop the seeds and you're like, oh shit, like this is, there's a much wider variety than what I expected. And it's both good and bad because it's like, this isn't the exact strain that I was trying to hold on to, but there's some cool things in here that the plant's showing me. I'm surprised. And that's just really inspiring too. And you're like, wow, sometimes the plant shows you something that you weren't expecting at all, but it's super dope. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where it started. I wanted to like protect all of these varieties that I had and just start creating some of my own flavors. I felt like I needed to like really lock down cultivating first so you can like understand great expressions of different plants before I started breeding, just kind of like tried to be humble with it at first, like just felt like I wasn't ready for it. And then just started running with it because it was fun as hell. And, I had a collective, had delivery services, and eventually like got, a warehouse, this or that, and I was able to like hunt a lot of my varieties and then put them out through the delivery service and get like true good feedback from at the time patients like and get that feedback, could run with certain varieties. And it's just really fun to like create something and have people enjoy it and give you positive feedback and kind of like collectively evolve the plant based on flavor, you know?
I mean, right now I'm smoking the Zelium, and the Zelium, for those that don't know, is that OZK times strawberry Skittles, and you get a combination of some sweetness and some of that OG
Yeah,
dank, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, I love that.
Get a combo of both of them, and Mechanic did an excellent job. Mechanic Farms is doing his thing here in the city, and
Mm-hmm.
and he's been pumping your genetics. Shout out to Doja Pack. Um, Talk to me
No
about
doubt.
your affiliations with Doja Pack and the seed, the website and everything. Talk to me about all that.
I've known him for a long time, and we've kind of been working side by side for a long time, just working hard. Both of us never stop. We go hard, and we've worked together for a while, man. And it's like we've both been watching what each other, what we've been building, and I mean, like over the years, every new thing I would come up with and I'd put into production, he had his hands on. He's smelling the nugs with me. We're smoking it. So it's like for many years, like, 'cause, yeah, like I I do my own thing, but there's certain people, like Ryan and Cody did too. Like we can discuss what we like, what's emerging in the industry, and kind of where to steer projects. We've been doing that for a long time, and there just came a point where like it just made sense for us to like merge our skill sets. Because for a long time, like everyone has different experiences through life and in cannabis, and you can have like good and bad. And I had some bad, and I was a little defensive and thought I would just do everything myself. But in reality, man, like I don't know. Like I don't see any like true success in anything coming without like deep collaboration, and that's something that Ryan's great at is like networking with these truly skilled, knowledgeable, good people, people like him. Like I've known him for over a decade, and like we've both consistently only done right by each other, and the people that he puts me in contact with, like Chris, Mechanics Farm, like just all these great cultivators, like it's so powerful. Like it's it's just incredibly exponentially powerful. And yeah, it's all thanks to him that anyone even really knows about my work and what I'm doing. I mean, I have a small presence, but like, and it's a benefit to everyone. It's mutually beneficial for us to work together, and I hope that it's beneficial for everyone, like on a large scale, to the small scale. Like we're all creating cannabis artwork and enjoying it together, like, and that's thanks to my bro.
I mean, you guys are definitely doing your thing. Like I also got some of my hands on this.
Yeah, that's a
You know
good
what I'm saying?
one, man.
Yeah, I'm a motor breath guy, so that's
I
why I
love
went
that
for that.
feeling. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how are you like? How do you? Okay, so talk to me about the coffin candy. How you was able to get that because that's where I started knowing about you. So talk to me about the coffin candy. What's the origins of the coffin candy?
Well, so yeah, I should definitely give credit to Freddie Big and Planta because when I made those, they got a lot from me and hunted a lot of those, and found like the one that's out there right now, like an amazing representation. And yeah, there's a lot of effort. There's huge value that goes into like a proper pheno hunt, and that's really what breeding is based on too. Is popping large amounts of varieties and seeing every single one of them and finding the best. And then it just, as generations go on, it stacks and stacks and stacks. As you're pulling out elite varieties and stacking them on each other, it can give great results over time. And the coffin candy was based off of the SZ. It was just, a lot of my names for strains, I'm not like, this is going to be the dope name. They're kind of just like placeholders for me in my mind. And sometimes they stick, like the strawberry scalato, it still gets called that. But, sometimes some of these ones that I come up with, we'll rename them. It's going to be something else. But so it was called the SZ, the strawberry scalato. And that was built off of the 18 coffins, which, I mean, that goes way back too, like 2005. The coffin cut strawberry diesel. That was in four seeds. Strawberry diesel that was in Pennsylvania popped. And he made F2s and printed those F2s, and then he found this dope version of his F2 strawberry diesel. And he called it the coffin cut. And so someone that I worked with at the time actually had to print out through the mail to SAC in like 2005, and it got distributed to a few of us in our small network, and we were all just like, yeah, this is dope. This thing fucking crushes. So that was around, a couple of years after that was around when I just to get into breeding, and that was definitely one of the strains that I wanted to like preserve and continue its lineage. Um, I wanted to hit it with something stable. So I went with a Northern Lights from Homegrown Seeds. I got a nice male and took it to the coffin cut. And then I did that because it was structurally stable. Northern Lights, is a good good inbred line of Northern Lights is going to be, it's notoriously stable, and that's what I wanted to start with. I wanted to make sure as I started breeding that I wasn't going to be having any hermaphrodite problems. It's always been a big focus of mine in selecting. Like, if something is amazing, but it's throwing some bananas, I mean, sorry, we gotta pop more beans and find one that's like that. It doesn't throw bananas, it's just not making its way in there. So, yeah, Northern Lights, the coffin cut, and then I got some OG 18 beans from DNA, which, shout out to them back in the day. Like, I had a lot of respect for them. They were known as like, you're gonna get good results from them, and I did. Those OG18s were dope. I popped like, I think like 9 out of 11 and found a keeper. And then so I took a male from the strawberry diesel coffin cut by Northern Lights to the OG18, and that's the 18 coffin. And I continued like, it's called line breeding. When you breed like a brother and sister, crossing, line breeding. That's how you end up with like F2, F3, etc. So I was line breeding that OG18. I mean the 18 coffin, sorry. And actually, like, cookies was coming around, gelato was coming around, and like, yeah, this is a good example of me working with Ryan and just talking about the progression of genetics and what will give us desirable results in terms of our palates, but also like what is going to be popular too, which generally they blend together. You know, popularity, consensus, a lot of it can be based on uh, just people getting super stoked on something, but also that consensus has value. It's good to take it into account and tailor breeding projects accordingly. Um, and so that's what we did. Because I took 18 coffins. It was an F3 at that time, and Gelato 33. So that was the strawberry gelato. And then, like early on, when Skittles was coming out, I hadn't seen it yet, and Freddie Biggs like, check out this unit of this shit. Like, just look at it, and looking at it, and I'm like, this does not look good, sir. Like, I can't believe that you're hyped on this. Like, what is going on? I knew it had to be like something with the aroma because looking at it, it was like, nice blue. And then boom, I opened the bag and it was just like the fucking rainbows coming out of it. So then we rolled up and smoked it, and it was like the most epic mouth coat since like real good sour diesel. You know, like sour diesel is like some fucking major mouth coat. That one's always had a special place in my heart. Like, and Skittles too. I tasted that shit. I was like, damn.
Yeah, sour, the real sour. I smoked it like around '05, and
Yeah, that's like when I was
it
growing
was
with it
yeah, it was gassy. It was super
on that
gassy,
shit.
skunk, you know, and it was grown differently also as well. You know, that's why it's hard to get that same sour back. You
It
know,
is,
but
man.
what you're doing is something different. You know, because you're setting waves, you know, setting trends, you know what I'm saying? You got other people working with your genetics, you know what I'm saying? That's a good thing. How do you feel about that? You know, other people working with genetics, especially people here in New York working with your stuff, and you out there, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love it. It's a humbling compliment, you know, and that's all thanks to Ryan. Like you know, like he's proven how good he is at what he does, which is like curating great cannabis. And so it's like, yeah, it's an honor that we ended up collaborating like this, and it's an honor that he like networks with people that are like, all right, bet, like you say this is it, like I'm gonna run it, and you're running with it, and now we're getting great results, and it's a good feeling, man. It feels great. It feels
It is a
great,
good
and it gives you a sense of like harmony and unity, like from like large distances. It feels good, man. Yeah, and I'm really grateful to everyone that's running our stuff.
look at that here. Oh, in the UK. Look in the UK, love in the UK also as well.
Yeah,
You see that?
yeah, big time UK, man. There's some people with some like probably some people we need to get at for some keepers out there. Like I heard that someone had a Z by Coffin Candy that was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. Look, I also got that soap and blue mosa. That is different.
It's
That
different.
one is like heavy blueberry terps, like a blueberry earthiness
Yeah,
terps
yeah,
on
it's
it.
got like some earthy leather, almost incense integrated into the blueberry. Like it's kind of like my only complaint is like in the jar and bag, it's not nearly as loud as when you bust it. And when you're like breaking it up, it's like that aroma is great and it translates really nicely too. And for me, the effect was like I was smoking it in the day, and I just was like, I went straight to that like until it was gone. Yeah, I was fortunate to get a few nugs from Chris.
Yeah, no, he's doing a hell of a job. He has a different. That Zelium is, you know,
I
it's
think
different.
that's the
It's like
one,
the Zelium has the C appeal, heavy.
right?
You know, has that Z appeal, but it's heavy dank on the palate. You know, like you get the Z in the beginning, but then it just transitions into like the OG. You
Yeah,
know,
nice. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to run this. I'm gonna be running this with somebody from New York.
hell
Um,
yeah.
because I wanna see how this goes because it's a water breath 15 and it's a coffin candy. I wanna ask you, how was your time in New York? I believe you were in New York, correct?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. It felt great, man. Everyone was so nice to me. Like even like, so I think when I first got there, I needed to go to Long Island from the city to like see what Chris was working. I was gonna help him like trim up some nugs real quick, you know, and just like meet him and hang out. And so he gave me the directions for some like train transitions to get over there, and like I was just like barely making those motherfuckers, but like people were super nice to me and like helping me. I'm like, I'm trying to get here, like how do I? And they were like, yeah, it's cool right over here, man. I was expecting someone to be like, you know, a little more stereotypically New York with it and be like, yeah, fuck off.
No, I mean, that's all the media, man. It's different out here, you know. Especially
Yeah.
the stoner community is different over here, you
Well,
know.
yeah, yeah. That was just New York as a whole, but like everyone I met in the cannabis community there was just like super welcoming. I had a great time, man. It was one of the best 420s ever. You know, and the park was dope.
So you see yourself coming back, of course.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, Talk to me about the future for Duca Herbs. What are you working on? Like, how's it looking for the future of Duca Herbs, Duca Doja?
It's good, man. We're always working. Like, fortunately, thanks to Ryan and all the like good people that I've met over the past couple of years, like we're able to be really efficient and kind of unstoppable in how we progress, despite any hurdles we might face. You know, um, yeah, things are good. There's some good projects going. Like I said, there's always hurdles and problems to overcome, but I mean that's nothing new. We don't stop.
Yo,
Um,
Doja saying, tell him some of the new crosses. Yo, Doja, if you want to get in, let me know, bro. Just let me know if you want to get in. But yo, tell him about the new
oh,
project. He say, tell him about the Blue Dream project.
I was
Wow, you
gonna
trying to
keep
bring
that
Blue
shit a
Dream?
secret.
Wow, you trying to bring Blue Dreams back? Wow.
Shit, he said it. I can't believe it. That was gonna be my like. That was gonna be my like sneak attack on people. Like I was gonna keep that shit on the low and get some beans out, and then people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Because they'd have
Yo,
no
but
idea
still,
what the cross is. Based on like the results that I'm seeing right now, some of these new flavors, they're just like, yeah, man, there's some special shit in there, and I've taken it to a lot of things. So it's a Z by Blue
okay,
Dream by
okay.
an Atomic Diesel, and like the Atomic Diesel was given to me at this collective from some like other person that came in. Um, I was
That's
like,
dope.
sure, I'll rock that. Like I hit up Dr. Atomic, and he was like, I didn't make an Atomic Diesel, so I'm like, all right, it must have been something that random dude made. And
Yeah.
it grew like a diesel and Northern Lights. So I assume they took a Dr. Atomic Northern Lights and took it to a what up, Chris?
What's good, you my guy?
Yo. And
How
yeah, I
you doing, my
assume
brother? I can't hear you, bro. I can't hear you. Go ahead. We got Mechanic Farms in the building. What's good, mechanics? Damn, I can't hear you, Brody.
yep, still no volume.
Can't hear you. But yeah, we got Mechanic Farms in the building. The cultivator for these popping flowers, you know. The Zelium, I think, is definitely the keeper for sure. But the
Yeah.
Zope is different. The Zope and Blue Mosa is different. You know
So
what I'm saying? It's definitely.
so that's not Zope. That's Soap with a S. That's
I
ABV.
know. No, yeah, the Zope. Yeah. I know the Zope, not the original, not Dio Zope. Is actually the Zope
Soap.
from
Yeah.
the
Soap.
Zope, the
Diesel.
Soap. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, the Soap. Yo, Chris, nothing.
Confusing.
What's good, Chris? Nothing. Damn. Try to go back in and go back.
No.
Yo, I can't hear you at
I'm
all,
doing
bro.
Female Hunter.
Let me see something. Let me see. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. But what are your one of your favorite cultivars? What are your favorite like top 5 cultivars?
I mean, OG Kush disgusted me. I love that one. That's why I like that OG 18 because it was like structurally a little better than the OG cut, like the California OG cut that I had. But you know, in retrospect too, I wish that I bred with that motherfucker. I was kind of like, you know, I can be a little naive sometimes about a lot of shit, and I was like, I mean, that cut's gonna be around forever. I gave it to a bunch of people, like it's not going anywhere. I'll get it back, and then it was like, damn, I don't think I can get it back.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All
Nice,
right, all right.
Yes,
We
sir.
we
nice.
Yes,
we we
sir.
good now. We good.
My brother,
What's
the Zelium is knocking, bro. You did a decent job on it, bro. I definitely feel it's one of your keepers for sure.
for sure?
Fire, fire.
For sure.
It's Z heavy in the beginning, and then it just switches to the OG Kush.
Yep, 100%. Definitely,
So,
definitely very
go ahead.
unique on the turf profile. You know, something that I was looking for Z. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I went to hunt that, I was looking for Z. I had mentioned to Ryan. I said, look, man, since you had passed me that first joint of ZBX2, it was like no turning back. Like all I wanted to smoke was Z. I even told Rusty. Rusty even sent me some Z crosses. But we already had got those OZKs going. But that was my main objective, was to find a good Z. But when we got the little mix of that dank to it with the strawberry colada, that was just like the sprinkles and cherry on top to it. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
more than a plus to it, and the noise it made, you know, just the small little drops we did, because again, it was, you know, we ran them back. It was one strain per light. Again, we're small batch, so it's not, you know, it's not a crazy facility. But even still, like, just the expressions we got from it was beyond amazing. Like, now all I believe me, now when I tell you this, next year is all Zelium, all Zelium. That's what you're gonna see.
It looks beautiful,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Celium, yeah, I'm definitely gonna drop a review on it. This was just definitely like more like a live review, and then also get you guys to talk together, you know, and talk about and showcase and exhibit your work, man, because your collaboration has been killing the game over here in New York. Brother, how was your drop? Talk to us about the drop, bro, and the
Yeah.
story.
Man, that drop, it turned out to be crazy. I ain't gonna lie, it was crazy, man. It was a nonstop line for 4 hours. You know what I mean? Nonstop.
It's heavy,
It was
man.
everybody was. It was a great vibe. Everybody was very hyped and, you know, very excited to try out these new strains, especially being dialed in. But the Zelium was the first one to go. That was the first one. Nobody wasted no time on that. Everybody was coming straight for that. They wasted
Yep.
no time.
That's the data we need.
Yes,
Yeah.
then after that was the Runs Times Coffin Candy number 6. Yeah, the 6 I believe was the fan favorite overall in
Those
regards to the
ones should
Runs Times
be.
Coffin Candy crosses.
I mean, it was a big ass line, bro.
Yeah,
It was a heavy line. It was a heavy line, bro. It was a heavy line. Just people just showing love and support for Doja, but also for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you put in work in this flower, bro. And shout out to you, Duka Herb. You know what I'm saying? Because your genetics is heavy in pulse in this. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get Doja inside the
yeah, I
chat,
seen that.
but
I seen that.
shit, I don't know if it's the service over there and shit. But let me see something. Give me a second, guys. But yeah, do you guys are doing more collaborations besides this?
Without a doubt. So right
Oh yeah.
now, right now we're basically, I'm running some unreleased crosses of the P41, also known as the Pina Colado.
Mhm.
Those are some next level stuff. Like, I've always said it with Rusty's genetics. Those are some most aggressive veg plants I've ever seen. I've ever grown in my life. You know, and just seeing some of them now, the way it reminds me of running the Run Times Coffee Candy all over again because of how aggressive they are in veg. But I'll tell you right now, we're running. So the P41 crosses are RS11, Motor Breath 15, Skittles, and Crumpets. Crumpets is very unique. That's another one as well that, you know, you don't hear much about. You know, again, going back to what Rusty was saying about, you know, reserving all those old school genetics and still having them around and trying to, like, you know what I mean, do next level things with them. He did something with that crumpet, and I don't know what it was, but I'll tell you, it's different from everything else. And I believe we, out of the seeds that I've popped, out of numerous that we've had, majority, like the ratio overall is more keepers than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to begin with, our first run, we had 15 keepers. We couldn't even figure out which one we wanted to keep. So we did a box. It's crazy like that when you just use the right genetics and the right strains, man. You just get the right outcome every time. And Rusty
Fox is
don't cut
amazing.
no corners with that, man. And I'll tell you, me growing his genetics and his strains, everything with Brian, man, it's been an honor. It's a pleasure, but it's also exciting for me, just to be along for this ride and to hunt these new next generation, phenos and genetics. It's an honor, honestly. It's an honor, and being that the name that Doja Pack has, it's also, again, it's an honor, man. I don't even know what else to say, bro. It's nothing but just a pleasure,
No, you
and
killing it, bro.
I just give it my all for, what I'm saying, for the team, and that's basically it, man.
That's what it is,
And
man.
it's also,
Me too. It's
it's,
team effort, and
Yeah,
it's something beautiful, you know.
exactly.
Like we can all take pride in what we do,
100%.
individually and collectively. It's
You know.
beautiful.
So we're running the crosses, and then we're also rolling out some pina colada New York style. So that's going to be coming as well before the end of this year. We got a lot of pina colada coming, and then the pina colada crosses. I also ran back the Runs Times Coffin Candy number 6 and the number 21. The 21 was a little bit questionable in regards to the poll that we did with the survey. A lot of people did mention that number 21 was, something different. So I wanted to rerun it back. I also asked Rusty. He said the same thing. Let's try it again. So we're running back the 21 as well. And again, we keep innovating. We just keep going, trying to find the next best thing. And that's basically what we're cooking up now, until we basically find the next phenos, and we run them back again and do the same thing all over again. So the collaboration won't end anytime soon. It's not even a collaboration; it's more like a partnership now.
Yeah, go until the end, man.
Exactly.
and
There's
that's a
lots of
beautiful,
things coming.
and that's a beautiful thing to see. You know why it's a beautiful thing to see? Because it is a you have a collaboration between East and West. You know what I'm saying? For the love of the plant.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. And also to highlight that, also one thing, the way that you grow mechanics is also like, it's something different, because yeah, you might have the genetics or whatever the case is, but it's also the way that you're growing, bro. So shout out to you, the way that you're putting in work, my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Appreciate
saying?
that.
It's,
And,
bro.
it's years. It's years. It's years. I never had a handout. I never really asked for help. I just online searching, and you know what I mean. It's a long road, but it's a long journey as well. But it's lessons that I learned throughout the journey, and those lessons taught me basically to make the wise decisions to be where I'm at now. So ain't no regrets in life. We just keep moving forward.
Yep. And yeah, it is. It's a lifetime. It's like just years and years of work and effort and discipline
100%.
to
Yep,
like
yep. I went from
keep it
growing from
going.
one, I went from growing one SOP to just overnight having to change to another, with Ryan. So it was like, it was a little of a, roller coaster, but I managed to get it with our first drop. Everything was
Yeah, it's
burning
smoking good,
phenomenal.
man.
Yeah.
I like that
So
HGV too. That's what I'm using
yeah,
too.
that
It's
HCV is killing the game, man. Ryan, my
yeah.
brother.
What's up, man?
What's good, Doja? How you doing, my brother? What's good, Ryan?
How you doing, Jay?
And said, my brother, just here, talking breeder talk and cultivation talk with Doja's runners, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what these guys are.
Thank,
These all legends in the making.
thank
Mechanics
you.
and
Thank you.
Duca Herb, all legends in the making, bro. And they all giving big shout outs to you, my brother. How do you feel about doing all this, my brother, and being part of this, East and West collaboration?
I mean, yeah, it was epic how Chris dedicates so much space to popping all the gear that he's working. that we gave him and stuff. And then, you know, it's a good culture out there, not just like New York, but like even up in New England and stuff too. The homie Brian, he was in a minute ago, and then we got some dudes down in DC. So Philly, I'm seeing phenos coming out of Philly right now.
Boston.
Yeah, so you know, it's just cool to see the East to West. I feel like there's a lot of people. You know, the phenos are coming hard in the next few months, because if you like lining up with the time we released them, so now
Yeah.
it's like perfect timing. They're starting to really come in right now, heavy, and we're seeing a lot of action on the East Coast.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I've seen also the other lineups, like the coffin candy, the candy fumes, the Starlato, and then you got mechanics that also running his own thing too with fire, Falma, and I mean, it's a beautiful thing, bro. It's a beautiful thing what's going on here. Talk to us about Higher Empire drop, or Foos Flower also running it too over here.
And you know, I need to get him some stuff, but me and him been in conversation, and then you know, the homie that was on here a minute ago, Bushwhacker NYC.
Yeah.
We got
Bushwhacker.
Chief Toker up in New England.
In Maine.
You know,
In Maine. I think it's in Maine. He's in Maine.
So you know, a couple other you know, the homies from White Plains in the Bronx
Collectors.
He had a pheno of the
BX.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet, but everyone said that one was cool.
He says
he
has real stuff that he thinks is like real coffin cut heavy. So we'll have to see about that.
Your service, my brother.
Yeah,
Repeat that, bro.
Oh, me?
Yeah, on you.
This country service is getting me. Dang it. Collector said you had a pretty special pheno of the Runts BX.
Yes.
That's like real. He thinks it's real, like strawberry diesel dominant, like not runtsy, but like very strawberry diesel. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a beautiful thing. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was saying that strawberry diesel's in the mix, so you know it's definitely possible to pull it out recessively.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing, you know. I mean, a lot of New York and East collaborated. I mean, East cultivators are working with your genetics, and it's setting a movement, you know, of the genetics, you know. But mechanics, that Zelium, my brother, is the keeper, bro.
Yes,
definitely a keeper.
Sounds like that's the one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next run. You know what I'm saying? When you know, to the 2024 drop, you know, and for real, my brother, keep doing your thing with that, bro. For real,
he's special new stuff, man. Yeah, some of those flavors he has he's the only one with them. It's like stuff where I'm like, man, I wish I was growing that. Like, it's gonna be fun, man.
That's some unreleased shit that I think that, like, you just named it off earlier, but like the pineapple 40, the pina colada crosses that you're running, I think you're gonna find some cool stuff in out of that.
Rusty,
that,
you want to fill them in with their crumpets? Let them know exactly what it is.
Yeah. But before I forget, behind the P41 crosses, we also have the OZK by P41 crosses. And I know Chris wanted like some Zope varieties, so I'm gonna get him the Zope by OZK by P41 or Pina Colado.
Yes.
So that's gonna be dope.
That'd be phenomenal. That'd be amazing. Exciting.
Like, Ryan smelled a jar of it recently, and it was gas, right? I mean, the Crumpets is like it's like a lemon floral skunk gas, and its structure is just like aggressively productive, very like small family distribution, and like perfect internodal spacing between the buds that they get nice and solid, but they're not too cramped. It's just
it's an OG, right? It's like
it's an OG. Yeah, it's like it's my OG. Like I was trying to make something that was like had tighter spacing, larger nugs, and just like straight gas. Yeah. But it's unique. I mean, like I said, the plant kind of surprises you. It's an OG, but it has these accents of like floral, like maybe like gardenia or jasmine or something with like lemon. And yeah, it's just obviously fuel, but those are accents on top of it. So what that is it's a Lemon OG by Jesus OG by Skywalker by Cold Creek Kush by GG4 by 18 Coffins. That's Crumpets.
Copy. Damn, that's a blend. It's a
6X
blend of
gas.
flavors.
Straight
Yes,
gas.
it's like all the gas. It's like da, 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 da. And that shit took me like decades or some shit. It's like crazy how long it takes, man. People like it means so much that people appreciate our work because it takes a lifetime.
The Cold Creek Kush that he used was one of like, I used to do really well with that one on the delivery service. Everybody liked that one. It was like a real, it was like a chem. It was like a chem, right? Or you had a Cold Creek chem too, right?
That's what it was. The Cold Creek Chem 4. So that was like THC's Cold Creek Kush that I pulled a male from and used for a bunch of shit. And then I took males of that, to other things. But it was the Cold Creek Kush by Chem 4, that Wonka cut of Chem 4.
And that's what
I loved Chem 4.
That's what
it was a beast.
That was for the Crumpets, right?
That's not in the Crumpets.
Okay, but the Cold Creek Kush male was crossed to the
exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's what was used inside the Crumpets. The same one that was used for the Cold Creek Chem 4.
Yeah, I got you.
Which was like 1,000 C's on the bag. C. I crossed it to cookies, and then it was like C 4.
Yeah,
Duke.
Cold Creek Chem 4 was fire.
I got a question for you, Duke. What's some advice you could give to the up and coming breeders and cultivators coming up?
I mean, cultivation first and foremost. Like before you start chucking pollen and being like, I mean, it's fun. You should do it as soon as you're inspired to do it, but it's key to like become extremely proficient in cultivation now, so that you can see like the full expression of plants, and also just like growing a huge variety of plants if you can. Like, I mean, that was me. I was just like, that was the fucking initial appeal of it, is like a kid in a candy store. Is like I never played Pokemon, but like I taught martial arts for a long time. My little students were play Pokemon. It just like reminded me of that shit where you're like trading these super unique items back and forth and like exploring these different traits that are often surprising. Like, losing my train of thought, though.
Yeah, no, so that's some of the advice that you could give to the up and coming cultivators and breeders.
Yeah, so come into contact with it, like collect as many fucking Pokemon cards as you can and play with them shits. Like,
literally.
Just
for real.
enjoy the variety that weed offers and become extremely familiar with it. Like Dave from Preferred Gardens is a gangster. Dude's been growing for as long as I have. Like legendary. He's grown so many different things that like he's just like boom, 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 can pick it out. And like that's what breeding is like picking dope plants. And he's a good example of like if you can become like a fraction of that, like that experience with plants and knowing how they express themselves, that's the basis for starting to like consciously breed. And like I said, it surprises you sometimes, but it's important that like when you approach it, you're not just like, this is hype, that's hype, like you want to like do things with purpose. And if there's a reason behind it, I feel like it helps. But even, sometimes that reason is like, oh, well, I didn't really get those results, but this shit's awesome over here.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting. Look, they got a question for you. They said, they had a question for Ryan. Yo, Ryan, I gotta ask you. Talk to me about the drop on. Is it on Friday on Higher Empire?
Yeah, on Friday. I'm not going to be there in person. But yeah, it's fresh flavors. He has can't remember exactly the lineup right now off the top of my head because No, he has I think he has like the Zatter. He has like the Delish. Shout out to Fire Farmer for the Delish. That one's hot. Sweet Retreat cross. That one's a good one. Yeah, man. Higher Fire is our official. Our official retail partner in NYC is Higher Empire. He's at 71 First Ave. East Village. So appreciate you bringing that up, Jay. You always come. He got fire. He got some fire batches right now. You should check those out for sure.
Yeah. I got some of the Saturn, and everybody asking what's the Saturn
So,
lineage and everything.
yeah, Saturn is by is genetics by Archive. Skittles by Planet Purple.
Zazu practically.
It's the same.
That's what.
Stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, so
yeah,
there's
Zazu.
multiple phenotypes of Zazu, and Saturn is just a phenotype of that. Same cross.
Chris, where could they find? Where they could find some Duca Earth, the Uduka Herb drop that you drop in most of your lineup?
The Duke of Herb drop is sold out, unfortunately. I think everybody smoked that already.
Nice, Chris. That's dope.
But other than that, we got some new drops coming in. That's just basically just the mechanics farm. But we like I said, we have the Pina Colada dropping and the Pina Colada crosses before Christmas this year. So that should be
Nice.
a very interesting drop as well.
You're gonna love that pina colada. It's a beast.
Oh,
like from a grower's perspective, it's an awesome plant.
I believe it. Unfortunately, I still haven't been able to smoke it, but from what I've been hearing, it's been great things.
That's that's what this is.
Yeah, it's sold out everywhere I go. It be sending out everywhere.
You didn't try it, Jay. Whenever they dropped a little batch at Higher Empire about a month ago. Did you get to try some?
I haven't tried. I only got the candy fumes, the Saturn, and the coffin candy.
Yeah. So out of those, coffin candy is from Duke of Herb, but the P41, aka Pina Colada, we'll have more of those in rotation. It's just now going into production. This last batch that we had that he got was the first one we ever actually ran with High Tech here in LA. So we have a couple different guys running it now. We're actually about to roll it out in Michigan too. So the Michigan homies will see it soon too. It's pretty
That
crazy.
It's epic.
It's something more like, it's a very traditional Baccio Gelato, like 41 style strain, but it has a different, different ending finish to it, kind of more like something like a sweet coconut, almost like, it
rotten
definitely
pineapple.
The pina comes through for sure. It's not so, the male that he used, the keeper that was the sister of the male that he used was heavy pineapple, and it was like a Durban type of funk, you know what I mean? So it was like, I always can kind of like smell, I'm sure you can too, Rusty, like when you smell the P41, you can smell the afternoon pineapple in it if you know what afternoon pineapple smells like. But if, like if you don't really, if not, you'll just be like, oh, it smells like a sweet gelato 41 or something, you know what I mean? Like with a little tropical funk on it or something, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a 41, it's got something else in it. I can definitely smell the afternoon pineapple in it, but it's not real super pineapple heavy is what I'm saying. But
it's a gelato that has like that tropical heavy fruit with like you said a little before, some bubble gum maybe in there too, like
I've gotten a few hints of bubble gum in the Runstown Coffee Candy Phenos. Yeah, that bubble gum tends to follow along very, very faintly with the strawberry scalato, I feel like.
I could see it.
Right, you had to see the line. You had to see the line for the drop. It was insane. It was insane.
I heard it was pretty lit. I was gonna say also thank you Bushwhacker for sending the homie out. I see him, he's in here. He sent the dude from I can't remember, man. I wanted to shout him out on here, but the Michigan homie pulled up with like some of the phenos of the ZBX2 and
Loose leaf Matt.
What is it? Loose leaf, yeah, loose leaf,
Matt.
Yeah.
Matt, yeah.
Lost leaf, right?
Yeah. Lost leaf Matt, yeah.
Shout out to Lost Leaf in Michigan. He pulled up with the ZBX2, and then he had a RS11 coffin candy pheno too. So, man, we're gonna, we're just kind of letting people like he said there was some crazy phenos that we saw of like the Skittles coffin candy and the helium coffin candy that I saw in the UK. And plus the stuff you're doing, Chris, stuff that I like the Grateful Breath, which is the Grateful Dead, which is the Runs BX1 selected by Bushwhacker. So I like that one as well. So I'm gonna come through, man, and do like a little documentary series, try to like put a little bit of awareness on all these phenotypes. pick some of them up, put them in production, get them rolled out, you know, do all this like on some like where people kind of, Jay, you understand what I'm saying? See the whole process. They saw we like put out the seeds, people pheno hunted the seeds. We took the seeds, put these, you know, took the phenos, put them in production, rolled them out. You know, we were all part of the process, and we'll see it from like the beginning of the whole thing when we just gave the people these little bitty beans like this, you know what I mean? Little, you know, little bitty beans. And then at the very end, we're rolling
Yeah,
out,
stuff like this.
we're rolling out strains. You know what I'm saying? Because this is shout out to Verb, because this is a good Verb strain too.
You
So,
know, they shouting, they doing trends, bro. You guys are
Doing
setting up the waves and trends and shit for the people that are coming up, you know,
the real
and that's a beautiful thing.
real seed to sales shit, but people need to see it though. It's a real process. You know, my boy, I was talking to Bobby Trill last night. Shout out to Bobby Trill. Pulled up on me, man, on some late night shit. We were drinking juice and shit, melon juice at like midnight. Man, if you're not drinking melon juice at midnight with Bobby Trill, I don't know, dog. Got this shit.
Yeah.
Like all these jars he shows me is like what I'm trying to make all my weed smell like. I swear, going around this dude's goals. But he basically said that going forward, you can't really finesse this shit anymore. Everything's gonna be documented. Like you basically. We're done with that mythical era of strains where like people like don't know what something is, or you know, it's like, you know, like we're coming into an era where I feel like everything's going to be documented. You know, there's a lot of genetic exploration going on right now, so there's a lot of shit in the market, but all that shit's going to consolidate, you know, eventually. And I think that we'll see new staple profiles come out of these, you know what I'm saying, come out of these mixes.
That's
And
good.
you know, it's like that's what we're all trying to do. It's lit to see that go on. You know, it's cool to see like that. You know, we're all part of that. You know, all of us are part of that. So it's like in the next generation, and everybody's growing, and we're we get to see like, you know, it's like the footprint that Rusty's putting on this shit is going to be embedded in the game, just like, you know, the cookies and all this other shit in the past has been. So, you know, it's like
We're putting it, you know, collectively, man.
Fire Farmer, you too, dog. I see you in there. You know, it's lit that the guy, I'm telling
Keon, my brother.
it's
That's
a big,
that
it's a big part.
Zelium, that Zelium, bro. That Zelium is a problem. So it's about to shut down. You know, IG only gives me like an hour, so I started like around 4:20. It's 5:17. Any last shout out you want to give to the people, Duka Herb?
Man. I mean, so many people, like, thanks to Ryan, you know, I mean, my boy Chris, for sure, you know.
Hey, that Zelium, just to clarify that Zelium, Chris is the only one that has that. I believe that you're the only one that has any. I mean, I gave some beans. I think we only had, 120 seeds of that or something, Rusty, to begin with. Or
Yeah, there
something.
wasn't a ton of them.
So,
Yeah,
like,
there wasn't a bunch of them.
and basically, so like the Zelium, what he has is the helium cut of OZK crossed to the strawberry Scalato. It's not to the coffin candy. So that's not helium coffin candy. What he has that we're calling Zelium is actually Zelium by strawberry Scalato. You know what I mean? Which is just one of the parents of the coffin candy. So
Yeah,
he
there's
has some,
nothing
basically
wrong.
what we're saying is he got some release shit, to clarify, you know?
And he's about to get some,
Interesting.
and he has
We
some running behind
we
that,
still
dude. The shit
going.
coming behind it, those Colado crosses.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I can't wait.
It's
Those
And like I
interesting.
said,
So
we
shout
still
out to Jay.
going.
I appreciate you having me on here though. Much love.
No,
Yeah.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you for holding
I
it down,
appreciate
Rusty.
you all. I
Come
appreciate
on,
you
man.
all for coming into the show. Shout out to Work and Roll for hosting. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Duka Earth, for your time, for the opportunity to speak to you and to hear your story. Yo, Mechanic Farms, keep doing your thing, my brother. You know, shout out to all of y'all, and I'm looking forward to the future works that's coming up from the Doja gang, for sure.
So, pleasure.
Salute. Respect and salute to everybody that tuned in. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
for real.
definitely posting this
Thank
live
you.
app. You already
Shout
know.
out to
Shout out to
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you. You
y'all
already
time
know.
in. Life is not great. Fire Farmer. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
for
y'all.
sure.
Oh, you already know.
Rusty,
Be
take care.
safe.
Take it easy. We gonna touch. I need them. I need that OZK P41 cross.
It's coming. It's coming. Yep.
All right, my
Yes,
brother.
sir.
We're gonna be in touch. I'll talk to you later, Jay. Thank you for
Yo,
having me. Appreciate y'all. Take
appreciate
care.
you too, bro. You already know. Thank you. Yo, Duka Herb, you already know.